Are you willing to work 16 hours a day? Rich people are. Are you willing to work 7 days a week and give up most of your weekends? Rich people are. Are you willing to sacrifice seeing your family, your friends, and give up your recreations and hobbies? Rich people are. Are you willing to risk all your time, energy, and startup capital with no guarantee of returns? Rich people are. For a time, hopefully a short time, but often a long time, rich people are ready and willing to do all the above. Are you? Maybe you'll be lucky and you won't have to work long or hard or sacrifice anything. You could wish for that, but I sure wouldn't count on it. Again, rich people are committed enough to do whatever it takes, period. It's interesting to note, however, that once you do commit, the universe will bend over backward to support you. One of my favorite passages is by explorer W.H. Murray, who wrote the following during one of the first Himalayan expeditions. Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans. That the moment one deftly commits oneself, then providence moves too. A whole stream of events issues from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents, meetings, and material assistance, which no man could have dreamt would have come his way. In other words, the universe will assist you, guide you, support you, and even create miracles for you. But first, you have to commit. Declaration. Place your hand on your heart and say, I commit to being rich. Touch your head and say, I have a millionaire mind. Wealth file number 4. Rich people think big. Poor people think small. We once had a trainer teaching at one of our seminars who went from a net worth of $250,000 to over $600 million in only 3 years. When asked his secret, he said, everything changed the moment I began to think big. I refer you to the law of income, which states you will be paid in direct proportion to the value you deliver according to the marketplace. The key word is value. It's important to know that 4 factors determine your value in the marketplace: supply, demand, quality, and quantity. In my experience, the factor that presents the biggest challenge for most people is the quantity. The quantity factor simply means how much of your value do you actually deliver to the marketplace. Another way of stating this is, how many people do you actually serve or affect? In my business, for instance, some trainers prefer teaching small groups of 20 people at a time. Others are comfortable with 100 participants in the room. Others like an audience of 500. And still others love audiences of 1,000 to 5,000 or more. Is there a difference in income among these trainers? You better believe there is. Consider the network marketing business. Is there a difference in income between someone who has 10 people in his or her downline and someone who has 10,000 people? I would think so. Near the beginning of this book, I mentioned that I owned a chain of retail fitness stores. From the moment I even considered going into this business, my intention was to have 100 successful stores and affect tens of thousands of people. My competitor, on the other hand, who started 6 months after me, had the intention of owning 1 successful store. In the end, she earned a decent living. I got rich. How do you want to live your life? How do you want to play the game? Do you want to play in the big leagues or in the little leagues, in the majors or the minors? Are you going to play big or play small? It's your choice. Most people choose to play small. Why? First, because of fear. They're scared to death of failure, and they're even more frightened of success. Second, people play small because they feel small. They feel unworthy. They don't feel they're good enough or important enough to make a real difference in people's lives. But hear this, your life is not just about you. It's also about contributing to others. It's about living true to your mission and reason for being here on this earth at this time. It's about adding your piece of the puzzle to the world. Most people are so stuck in their egos that everything revolves around me, and more me. But if you want to be rich in the truest sense of the word, it can't only be about you. It has to include adding value to other people's lives. One of the greatest inventors and philosophers of our time, Buckminster Fuller, said the purpose of our lives is to add value to the people of this generation and those that follow. We each came to this earth with natural talents, things we're just naturally good at. These gifts were given to you for a reason, to use and share with others. Research shows that the happiest people are those who use their natural talents to the utmost. Part of your mission in life, then, must be to share your gifts and value with as many people as possible. That means being willing to play big. Do you know the definition of an entrepreneur? The definition we use in our programs is a person who solves problems for people at a profit. That's right, an entrepreneur is nothing more than a problem solver. So I ask you, would you rather solve problems for more people or fewer people? If you apply more, then you need to start thinking bigger and decide to help massive numbers of people, thousands, even millions. The byproduct is that more people you help, the richer you become, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and definitely financially. Make no mistake, every person on this planet has a mission. If you're living right now, there's a reason for it. Richard Bach, in his book Jonathan Livingston Seagull, is asked, "How will I know when I've completed my mission?" The answer: if you are still breathing, you are not done. What I have witnessed is too many people not doing their job, not fulfilling their duty, or dharma, as it's called in Sanskrit. I watch too many people playing far too small, and too many people allowing their fear-based ego selves to rule them. The result is that too many of us are not living up to our full potential in terms of both our own lives and our contribution to others. It comes down to this: if not you, then who? Again, everyone has his or her unique purpose. Maybe you're a real estate investor and buy properties to rent them out and make money on cash flow and appreciation. What's your mission? How do you help? There's a good chance you add value to your community by helping families find affordable housing they may not otherwise be able to find. Now the question is, how many families and people can you assist? Are you willing to help 10 instead of 1, 20 instead of 10, 100 instead of 20? This is what I mean by playing big. In her wonderful book, A Return to Love, author Marianne Williamson puts it this way: you are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure about you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it is in everyone. And we let our own light shine. We unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. The world doesn't need more people playing small. It's time to stop hiding out and start stepping out. It's time to stop needing and start leading. It's time to start sharing your gifts instead of hoarding them or pretending they don't exist. It's time you started playing the game of life in a big way. In the end, small thinking and small actions lead to being broke and unfulfilled. Big thinking and big actions lead to having both money and meaning. The choice is yours. Declaration. Place your hand on your heart and say, I think big. I choose to help thousands and thousands of people. Touch your head and say, I have a millionaire mind. Wealth file number 5. Rich people focus on opportunities. Poor people focus on obstacles. Rich people see opportunities. Poor people see obstacles. Rich people see potential growth. Poor people see potential loss. Rich people focus on the rewards. Poor focus on the risks. It comes down to the age-old question: is the glass half empty or half full? We're not talking positive thinking here. We're talking about your habitual perspective on the world. Poor people make choices based upon fear. Their minds are constantly scanning for what is wrong or could go wrong in any situation. Their primary mindset is, what if it doesn't work? Or more often, it won't work. Middle class people are slightly more optimistic. Their mindset is, I sure hope this works. Rich people, as we said earlier, take responsibility for the results in their lives and act upon the mindset, it will work because I'll make it work. Rich people expect to succeed. They have confidence in their abilities. They have confidence in their creativity. And they believe that should the doo-doo hit the fan, they can find another way to succeed. Generally speaking, the higher the reward, the higher the risk. Because they constantly see opportunity, rich people are willing to take a risk. Rich people believe that if worst comes to worst, they can always make their money back. Poor people, on the other hand, expect to fail. They lack confidence in themselves and in their abilities. Poor people believe that should things not work out, it would be catastrophic. And because they constantly see obstacles, they are usually unwilling to take a risk. No risk, no reward. For the record, being willing to risk doesn't necessarily mean that you are willing to lose. Rich people take educated risks. This means that they research, do their due diligence, and make decisions based on solid information and facts. Do rich people take forever to get educated? No. They do what they can in as short as a time as possible, then making an informed decision to go for it or not. Although poor people claim to be preparing for an opportunity, what they're usually doing is stalling. They're scared to death, hemming and hawing for weeks, months, and even years on end. And by then, the opportunity usually disappears. Then they rationalize the situation by saying, I was getting ready. Sure enough, but while they were getting ready, the rich guy got in, got out, and made another fortune. I know what I'm about to say may sound a little strange considering how much I value self-responsibility. However, I do believe a certain element of what many people call luck is associated with getting rich, or for that matter, with being successful at anything. In football, it might be the opposing team's player fumbling on your own 1 yard line with less than a minute to go, allowing your team to win the game. In golf, it could be the errant shot that hits an out-of-bounds tree and bounces back onto the green just 3 inches from the hole. In business, how many times have you heard of a guy who plops some money down on a piece of land in the boonies and 10 years later some conglomerate decides it wants to build a shopping center or office building on it? This investor gets rich. So was it a brilliant business move on his part or sheer luck? My guess is that it's a bit of both. The point, however, is that no luck or anything else worthwhile will come your way unless you take some form of action. To succeed financially, you have to do something, buy something, or start something. And when you do, is it luck or is it the universe or a higher power supporting you in its miraculous ways for having the courage and commitment to go for it? As far as I'm concerned, who cares what it is? It happens. Another key principle pertinent here is that rich people focus on what they want, while poor people focus on what they don't want. Again, the universal law states what you focus on expands. Because rich people focus on the opportunities in everything, opportunities abound for them. Their biggest problem is handling all the incredible money-making possibilities they see. On the other hand, because poor people focus on the obstacles in everything, obstacles abound for them, and their biggest problem is handling all the incredible obstacles they see. It's simple. Your field of focus determines what you find in life. Focus on opportunities, and that's what you find. Focus on obstacles, and that's what you find. I'm not saying that you don't take care of problems. Of course, handle problems as they arise in the present, but keep your eye on your goal. Keep moving toward your target. Put your time and energy into creating what you want. When obstacles arise, handle them. Then quickly refocus on your vision. You do not make your life about solving problems. You don't spend all your time fighting fires. Those who do move backward. You spend your time and energy in thought and deed, moving steadily forward toward your goal. Do you want some simple but extremely rare advice? Here it is. If you want to get rich, focus on making, keeping, and investing your money. If you want to be poor, focus on spending your money. You can read 1,000 books and take 100 courses on success, but it all boils down to that. Remember, what you focus on expands. Rich people also understand that you can never know all the information beforehand. In another of our programs, Enlightened Warrior Training, we train people to access their inner power and succeed in spite of anything. In this course, we teach a principle known as Ready, Fire, Aim. What do we mean? Get ready the best you can in as short as time as possible. Take action, then correct along the way. It's nuts to think you can know everything that may happen in the future. It's delusional to believe you can prepare for every circumstance that might someday occur and protect yourself from it. Did you know there are no straight lines in the universe? Life doesn't travel in perfectly straight lines. It moves like a winding river. More often than not, you can only see to the next bend. And only when you reach that next turn can you see more. The idea is to get in the game with whatever you've got, from wherever you are. I call this entering the corridor. For example, years ago, I was planning on opening an all-night dessert cafe in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I studied location options in the marketplace and found out what equipment I'd need. I also researched the kinds of cakes, pies, ice creams, and coffees available. The first big problem I got, really fat. Eating my research wasn't helpful, so I asked myself, Harv, what would be the best way to study this business? Then I heard this guy named Harv, who was obviously a lot smarter than me, answer, if you really want to learn a business, get into it. You don't have to own the darn thing from day one. Get in the corridor by getting a job in the arena. You'll learn more by sweeping up a restaurant and washing dishes than by 10 years of research from the outside. I told you he was a lot smarter than me. And that's what I did. I got a job at Mother Butler's Pie Shop. I wish I could tell you that they immediately recognized my superb talents and started me as CEO. But alas, somehow, they didn't just see, nor did they care about my executive leadership skills, and so I began as a busboy. That's right, sweeping the floor and clearing dishes. Funny how the power of intention works, isn't it? You might think that I must really have had to swallow my pride to do this, but the truth is I never looked at it that way. I was on a mission to learn the dessert business. I was